This is John Black, Super Chemist. I did a 13-part video series talking about, I went to 4 websites and showed you on camera, how all the presidents since George Washington all the way up till today, they've all been related. All the vice presidents, all the Secretary of States, all the the Secretary of War, they're all related. And they all have the same bloodline that goes back to Samuel Hinckley. And his bloodline, he came over in 1635 to the American colonies from England, right? His bloodline goes all the way back to King Edward I, right? So all our presidents, all our vice presidents, everyone is related to, not everybody obviously, but is related with the same bloodline, the same royal bloodline, right? And remember, I just to tell you how bad it is, before Trump isn't related. He threw a wrench in everything, right? Before Trump, there have only been 6 times, all the way, counting from George Washington all the way up to Trump. There's only been 6 times in the American history where the president or the vice president or both have not had this royal bloodline. Okay, 6 times, that's it. That means 86% of the time throughout the entire history of this country, 86% of the time the president or vice president or both has been related and having this same bloodline. It starts to be, I know I can't prove it, and they're all like 6th cousins or, 5th cousins, 7th cousins or whatever. But out of 330 million people, all the presidents have the same exact bloodline, and it's all the same royal bloodline. Really? And then I find out what? John Hinckley, the guy who shot Reagan, was also having the same bloodline. Reagan didn't have the same bloodline. George Bush did. So the guy who shot Reagan, if Reagan would have died, who would have slipped in? George Bush, who's related to the shooter, John Hinckley. They both have the same royal bloodline. And remember, John Hinckley had said he loved who? Jodie Foster. Yeah, guess what? Jodie Foster is related to George Bush and John Hinckley. Then you go back to the next president that wasn't related to, having this bloodline, this royal bloodline, was what? JFK. Well, look what happened to him. Lyndon B. Johnson had the royal bloodline. He was the vice president, right? Who killed him? Lee Harvey Oswald. Guess what? Lee Harvey Oswald had the same royal blood as Lyndon B. Johnson and all these other presidents. And as soon as JFK got shot in the head, Lyndon B. Johnson, the royal guy, moved in and became president. This is getting ridiculous on the coincidences, okay? And I went over 4 sites, in this, video series called "Is the Deep State a Monarchy?" Right? And the reason there's hundreds of sites though. See, what you need to understand is that when you have royal bloodline, it is well documented. You know what I mean? Historians get hard-ons over it. You know what I mean? They follow this bloodline. It is well documented. If you can find it in one site, that there's a relationship between these 2 presidents, you can find 30 sites. It just takes time. You know what I mean? The thing is all the sites don't connect everyone up. This site, you have 10 sites to connect these people up, and then you got another 10 sites that overlap that and name other people, and then 10 other sites that overlap that. And, they're all overlapping each other, though, to verify. You can verify it over 20 sites on everything I say, okay? So anyways, remember, the guy, the one to come up, and my whole thing, and remember, I'm not saying that there's a king and a queen, and all these people are related, and they know what's going on, and they don't. Samuel Hinckley came over, this was my first, theory. He came over, had the plan, he sees all the kings and queens across the whole globe getting their heads chopped off and putting on pikes, right? So they know, don't do a king, queen, don't do a monarchy anymore. You know what I mean? You're going to get your head chopped off sooner or later. So what was his idea? Let's make a deep state monarchy. We'll pretend that we're a democracy, and we'll just have all our relatives go into, take over all the positions, you know what I mean? Like president, vice president, secretary of state, secretary of war, etc., director of CIA. Well, you know what I mean? And he, Samuel Hinckley, and the main royal family, they're keeping track of the bloodline. And when they see someone in their bloodline that they can corrupt, or that is very charismatic, you know what I mean, that they can make a president and make into a president, they will swoop in. I'm not sure, they're probably not going to tell them the whole story. Hey, you're royalty, blah 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 blah. No, they're just going to swoop in. And some of them are going to bring it, they're going to know. And most of them don't even know, though, that they know they're part of the deep state, but they don't realize that it's all about this royal bloodline. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that they all know what's going on. I'm saying there's a king and a queen that's actually running our country, and everyone else is puppets, or else the royal puppets, regular puppets, or royal. Royalty that they actually know what's going on, and but these people. So, anyways, here's another site called famouskin.com. Okay, famous kin of Mary Hinckley. Remember, Samuel Hinckley was the guy that everyone's related to. All his descendants are presidents and governors and everything else. You know what I mean? And my whole thing was that you have the higher, because everything has a hierarchy, right? Even royalty, you got the high, middle, and lows. The highs would be the king and his immediate family, princesses. They got them all the money, they got all the power. But you got also mid royals, right? They got a lot of money too, and they have a lot of power, just not as much as the king and his immediate family. And then you got the low royals. Those are the people that have a lot of money because they're royal, right? But they ain't got the power. They got no power. So you see all this. You see these kings and queens all disappearing, right? And you're one of the low royals. You got no power, but you got a lot of money. And you can't go over to France from England and just set up a monarchy there. There's already a monarchy. There's already a government. But we discovered the United States. We discovered the Americas, right? James Hinckley came over. He had an idea. He's going to do this thing where he's just going to have he's going to set up a monarchy it's a deep state monarchy, pretending to be a democracy, right? Now look at this site, because this actually confirms. I mean, it doesn't confirm it, but the coincidences are just unreal. Okay, they're unreal. So let's look at this list of people that are also related to every president since, almost every president that's ever existed. Now, the vice presidents, I've only linked up maybe about 15 or 20 of them that are related to this royal bloodline. But this list here has a lot of, and keep in mind, I'm only, just like those 4 websites I did on my previous videos, this isn't the only website. I'm picking this website because it combines, like it's the biggest one, the biggest list. You know what I mean? So I don't have to show you 50 different websites. But there are 50 different websites that will confirm each and every one of these people that are related, right? Okay? So let's look at this list. You got John Jenny, Samuel Hinckley, the same guy, right? These are famous kin of Mary Hinckley. In 1761 to 1848 she lived. Samuel Hinckley was 1589 to 1682. He is the 4th great-grandfather of this Mary Hinckley, right? Meaning great-great-great-great-grandfather of Mary Hinckley. And I was thinking he came over, right? And all the lower royals came over to make up their own monarchy, deep state, while all the other kings and queens across the world were getting their heads chopped off and put on pikes. But now look at this list here, right? They all say 4th great-grandfather, meaning they're all, here, let me move up the list here. Yeah. everyone here is a fourth. Everyone listed here, right? Edmund Freeman, William Lumpkin, Thomas, whatever, Thomas Prince, John Mayo, whatever. All these names right here, right? They're all fourth grandfathers, meaning great-great-great-great-grandfathers of Mary, Samuel, whatever. And they're all exactly the same. Look at this. This guy, Little James Passenger, 1623. Hercules Passenger, 1635. Abigail Passenger, 1635. Great Immigration, 1638. Great Migration, Immigration, 1633. Fortune Passenger, 1621. Great Migration, 1640. Mayflower, 1620. Notice the dates. They're all between 1620 and 1635. Or this one's 1638. But you see how they're all like the same decade. So you know what I did? Because I was thinking just, all the lower royals came over. These are all the lower royals right here, buddy. Right here. They all came over from England within the same decade. And all their relatives, all their descendants are our presidents, our vice presidents, our secretary of states, our secretary of wars, everything. They're all... Anyway, so I go here, right? Let me go back. And I say, right? I asked Google, what the heck happened in what happened between 1620 and 1635? I mean, what happened? Why are these people coming? Oh, that's when a period of significant economic hardship occurred in England, marked by poor crop yields, high unemployment, and difficulty finding work, which led to a wave of Puritan migration to the New England colonies, primarily due to religious persecution and restrictions of their practices under King Charles. So this is basically the monarchy is falling in England, right? And everyone leaves from England. It's a lower royal, right? Because they don't want their heads chopped off and put into the thing. When 1660 or 1650, the monarchy was pretty much done, and it was incorporated into the government, which was a constitutional monarchy. But that was when monarchies were getting rid of them, right? And at that time, right before they get rid of them, boom, you got, what is this, 10 names right here, something like that, 8 names? All of them lower royals. All of them related to all our presidents. So let's go through the list, though. Check this out. Let's see how much time we got left. Okay, so okay. I don't know a lot of actresses' names, and I don't know the real names. I'm not one of those type of people. But there are a lot of TV actresses on here. Tia Mowry, Tamara Mowry, Betty Davis. There's a lot of... but what I also noticed was that they are a lot of presidents, not just the presidents of the United States, but of Harvard. And these, like presidents. Carnegie Institute of Science. U.S. Vice President. And I noticed, too, on this next thing, where I've noticed a lot more vice presidents that are of this bloodline that didn't, because this 15 or vice presidents that I knew were bloodlines, had this royal bloodline. That was because they were presidents too. You know what I mean? And so I knew, because I already investigated them as a president. Okay, I didn't really investigate vice presidents. They just came up without me looking. You know what I mean? Now I'm looking. This list, they're all verified with 50 other sites. Names another 15 freaking vice presidents. Like the entire, you know what I mean? It's like I thought almost all the presidents were related, and maybe 25% or half of the vice presidents. No, all the vice presidents too. Yeah, all of the vice presidents too, all with the same exact bloodline.